So let's get right into it. This is an article in New York Post, and it reads, the title is 6 West Point Spring Breakers OD on Fentanyl-Laced Cocaine in Florida. 6 West Point football players on spring break in Florida overdosed on fentanyl-laced cocaine, leaving 2 in critical conditions, authorities and reports said Friday. Paramedics responded to a short-term Airbnb rental home Thursday in Wilton Manors and found the 6 cadets in cardiac arrest from a drug overdose, according to the Orlando Sun-Sentinel. 2 of the victims remained in critical condition Friday, Wilton Manors police confirmed to the Post. At least one of the victims was treated and released, according to NBC Miami. The group, all men in their early 20s, were in town to celebrate spring break from the U.S. Military Academy at West Point, New York, officials said. Now, this is fucking crazy. Just 4 of the students used the laced cocaine with fentanyl. 2 others got sick after giving mouth-to-mouth to the initial overdose victims, authorities told the station. So 4 of the cadets actually did the cocaine, and then 2 of them didn't, blow the magic powder. They were giving mouth-to-mouth to the people who were going into cardiac arrest, and by proxy, by touching it on their lips, touching it on their mouth, their fingertips, whatever, the 2 people that didn't even do the cocaine nasally got sick from just the contact with the cadets. So, I read this article and I was thinking for a while, and I have a clip on the AUX on YouTube, and also there's a clip in one of the episodes where I talk about the times that I have used cocaine, and one of the reasons why I haven't done it in a very long time, one, because and it's just not for me right now at this point in my life. It's not what I'm looking for when I want a drug experience. I'm looking for much, smoother, longer lasting experiences than a bump of cocaine, something like mushrooms or kratom, even sipping on whiskey. I'm not really looking for those spikes in my life. So that's number 1. And number 2 is hearing these fentanyl stories, because it's happening more and more. Cocaine and fentanyl, it doesn't make sense. And yes, I'm sure it is a super small amount of doses that are contaminated. But why would cocaine, a stimulant, an upper, be mixed with fentanyl, a downer? Those, you typically see fentanyl mixed with opioids, and you typically see cocaine mixed with, other uppers like meth or Adderall or something like that. Like, it doesn't make sense. And so the 3 reasons that I've seen, speculation for how fentanyl is ending up in the cocaine supply is as follows. So 1, there are dealers mixing heroin and cocaine on the same table. So basically not being careful about cleanup. It only takes a few specks of fentanyl to push you into that cardiac arrest, dangerous territory. So if you're throwing a batch of coke in a bag and you just did heroin right before that, and all you're doing is basically giving the table a quick wipe down, like I did to my groceries the first 2 weeks of COVID. The first time I actually did a good wipe down, and then after that, I think I just massaged the outer groceries with a Clorox wipe, and then just fuck this, I'll take the COVID. I'm not showering my groceries to eat them. But yeah, if you're just giving a quick wipe and you're like, oh, heroin's done, onto the coke, and you just fucking wipe it down quick, push it off the table, give it that COVID wipe, there could be some fentanyl left over if that's what's happening. The second reason that's being floated around is that there are just sociopathic drug dealers out there, or sociopathic people that just want to hurt people, and they'll do it even though it hurts their bottom line, because they know that there's probably a very low chance of it coming back to them. If you're buying drugs, you're not going to go to the police and admit that you were buying drugs and you think your dealer put fentanyl in your cocaine supply because you know, passed out after doing cocaine. And if you die, you know, maybe the cops will come after you. They did in this case. In the case of the West Point grads, the cops arrested someone who they believe is responsible for giving the drugs to these kids. But even with those consequences, you still have sociopathic people out there, a small percentage, sure, but people, if a certain percentage of the population are sociopaths and want to cause pain to other people and don't have any rhyme or reason for it, a certain percentage of drug dealers will do that, and they might enjoy handing you a bag of cocaine that they know is going to kill you, and that's just the truth of the matter. The third reason that I've seen floated around out there is that there are warring cartels. You know, Colombia, Mexico, cartels at war with each other that are contaminating the other one's supply. Now, that seems like a fucking movie, and if it is happening, they should make a movie out of that immediately about two cartels in Colombia that are just fucking infiltrating the other cartel with spies and putting Fetty Wap in the coke supply. That's terrible, and that's crazy. But all three of those things are out of your control. They are all out of your control. You can't control if your dealer's not being careful. You can't control if your dealer's a sociopath, and you can't control if cartels are contaminating the supply. So my suggestion to you is not to do cocaine, but if you should choose to do cocaine, there's a website called dancesafe.com. Dance, D-A-N-C-E, safe.com. I have zero affiliation with them. They provide test strips for fentanyl where you can test your drugs. And, you know, why not spend $20? I believe it was $20 for a pack of 10 test strips. $20 could potentially save your life. Again, I don't want to make this sound like everyone's coke has fentanyl in it. That's far from true. But you can't control it, and there's still a chance, so why not spend $20, have it on you, and if you choose to do it, if you choose to hit the slopes, you will at least know you're hitting the slopes and not the Fetty. Still comes with risks, but it's better to take less risk when you're taking risks. Yeah. Imagine if that was the drug talk that our 8th grade teachers gave to us. I don't know if you guys had this, but we had this huge sign that was, I forget what the company was. If it was like alcohol, fuck. But it was essentially this, I think it was Dare, actually. Dare Drugs, where they had all of us come in 5th grade and they had this banner out and we had to sign our names saying that we would never do drugs and alcohol at 10 years old. And of course we're like, I'm never going to do this. Imagine if in 5th grade the teachers just come in and they're handing out fentanyl test strips and they're like, all right, kids, if you do blow the devil's powder up your nose, make sure you have a test strip on you available at all times. They can fit in your pocket. They can fit in your wallet. Just when you're doing the white noise, just don't take more risks than you have to. Have that test strip. Yo, also, like, we need to stop treating drugs as these illegal and dark things and start treating them as just products that people buy. Stop treating drugs and putting them in a corner and be like, this is all dark shit, it's all illegal. The only thing we're going to do is arrest people, and start treating them, you know, as inventory. Start treating it like things that people buy on Amazon, because that's essentially what it is. Drugs are... For example, there were 350 million grams of cocaine sold in the U.S. last year. So let's say, for the argument's sake, for conversation's sake, there are 350 million grams. 1 gram is a unit. So 350 million units of cocaine were purchased last year in the U.S. Also in the US, there were 600 million units of peanut butter sold, which is the same ballpark. It's hundreds of millions, 350 million bags of blow, 600 million cans of peanut butter. If our peanut butter supply was getting laced with fentanyl and people were dropping dead, we'd regulate it and change the production process as soon as possible. We wouldn't just arrest, the people that were overdosing for buying peanut butter illegally. We wouldn't just look for the dealers. We would overhaul the whole manufacturing process. We would take control of it. We'd probably nationalize that as a government and say, hey, this can't happen. So why are we not doing that with illegal drugs? Why are we not doing that with cocaine? There's pretty much just as many people doing cocaine as peanut butter. Or there's just as many units being sold, at least. There's a small percentage of the population that's buying the majority of the cocaine, but still, if that many units are being moved, why not regulate it like it's just a thing people buy? Peanut butter is a thing people buy. Cocaine is a thing people buy. Why not regulate it to control the production process? Because people will do it regardless. No one has ever been on the way to buy drugs and remembered, oh shit, this is illegal, and then stopped. They're like, oh, my bad. I didn't. The legality of this drug is keeping me from doing it. People who want to do drugs are going to do it anyway. Sure, you may be incentivizing a few extra people to try drugs because it is legal, but I believe that the consumer demographic would largely remain the same. I honestly don't think that cocaine use would spike dramatically over a sustained period of time if things became legal. So why not treat it like peanut butter? If people were dropping dead from peanut butter, if 6 West Point cadets went on spring break and they had a peanut butter sandwich and went into cardiac arrest, you would stop the shelves. You would say, hey, we need control of this. And when someone says to you, oh, it's illegal, we can't control it, then the U.S. government would say, well, fucking legalize peanut butter. People are dying. And there's 350 million units being sold a year. Why the fuck aren't we in control of this? I saw a video of cocaine inside the pit of an avocado. Apparently there are cartels, drug dealers, whatever you want to call them, cocaine suppliers that are purchasing avocado farms and selling both avocados and cocaine, which is smart because avocados are expensive as fuck. So if you have an avocado farm and you're also using avocados to smuggle cocaine, you are making money off the white girls and with the white girls. And you probably have a lot of crossover. There's a lot of people that eat avocados and say, I'm a vegan. I treat my body like a temple. You eat meat. You're a piece of shit. How could you do it? It's so unhealthy for you. It's so unhealthy for the planet. And then they're blowing lines on the weekend. So there's a lot of crossover between those two markets, between the avocados and the coke users. And I love avocados. It's just not the only thing I eat. I like having energy. And so you will always have the suppliers that outpace the law. The cocaine suppliers, the cartels will out-innovate the police. The cartels are creative. They're very determined. And they are taking action. The police are basically reacting to everything that the cartels do, which is why the war on drugs has been going on forever, because it's not a war. It's just a reaction to the innovations that drug dealers take. Drug dealers are always going to have the upper hand because the drug dealers do something, they get caught, they move on to something else, they get caught, and then the police are just 10 steps behind, and they're constantly trying to catch up. What is it? Like, we have an entire drug enforcement agency and still 80% of drugs get across the border. Like, how wild is that? I'm in Brooklyn, New York. I can walk outside my apartment and probably within 1 hour obtain any of 5 illegal drugs, like coke, heroin, crack, meth, whatever, within an hour. And there's a war on drugs. Don't you think it would be a little bit harder to get if it was working? So why not, fuck over the cartels, legalize cocaine, use it for tax dollars, pump it back into the U.S. economy, regulate it, less people will die. You restrict it heavily. Maybe you decriminalize it first, but you make it legal. You don't just sell it in a gas station. You have to go into a dispensary style place like a marijuana dispensary. And you help people. You would help the country financially. You would help people get a safe supply. They would know there would be testing regulations. They know what's in it. They know the dose that they're supposed to take. They know the risk. It says all that on the packaging. The cartels aren't doing that. The local drug dealers aren't, testing it and giving you, it's this percentage this percentage this percentage this. These are the risks. This is how much you should take. It's not coming with servings. It's not coming with ingredients. So why not just regulate the shit? Hey guys, this is a quick reminder to check out Auxoro Premium, the best deal in premium podcasting. On Auxoro Premium, you gain access to bonus episodes, the unlicensed therapy series, the ability to submit topic suggestions for the podcast, exclusive Ask Me Anything episodes, and the entire premium catalog for only $5 per month. Go to auxoro.supercast.com, that's AUXORO.supercast.com, to join the premium gang today.